And meanwhile, the Democrats continue to push forward with their agenda on abortion, hoping that it's going to save them from a shellacking in 2022. And again, they're really bad at this. The media seem to believe that the Democrats have some sort of messaging advantage when it comes to abortion. I'm not seeing it. One of the reasons I'm not seeing it is that the pro-choice caucus inside the House sent out messaging materials to the House Democrats on Roe versus Wade. And they put out this chart, messaging do's and don'ts. Messaging do's and don'ts. Here's what they say is harmful language. Choice. That's correct. Pro-choice Democrats are now saying that they should not use the word choice because it's become too toxic. And people understand that choice means abortion. Instead, you should use the word decision. Good luck with this. They also say that you should never say, okay, the Democrats have decided, you should never say the goal is to reduce abortion or to use safe, legal, and rare, which again demonstrates how the Democratic mindset has moved. Because to say safe, legal, and rare is an inherent contradiction. Because once you say that it should be rare, you are suggesting there is a moral problem with abortion. Instead, say these Democrats, you should use the following language: safe, legal, and accessible. Abortion shouldn't be rare. Abortion should be widespread with no sort of moral judgment attached. Abortion is, in fact, a morally apathetic issue. It's the same as removing a polyp. So it shouldn't be safe, legal, and rare. It should be safe, legal, and accessible. Also, you should no longer say unwanted pregnancy. You should say unexpected pregnancy. Well, I mean, first of all, talk about Orwellian language, unexpected pregnancy. I mean, do we mean just that you had unprotected sex and then you are surprised? Like, well, unexpected pregnancy, like, I think it is fair to say that if you had consensual sex and then you got pregnant, that shouldn't be considered unexpected in the way that you are talking about. Unwanted is more accurate, but they don't want you to say unwanted because, again, it demonstrates exactly the problem here, which is that you are defining whether this is a baby or not by your pure desire for the baby, which is an incredible thing. Deciding the value of another human being by deciding whether you want that person in your life. Man, if that were the case, if I just got to decide whether everybody who is in my life, whether I want them in my life or I don't want them in my life, and then I just got to kill them if I didn't want them in my life, it'd be me and Charles Manson, man. That is an insane, but that is the entire Democratic proposal when it comes to abortion. So they're trying to shield that now. It's not unwanted pregnancy, it's unexpected pregnancy. Now, first of all, even if it was unexpected pregnancy, a lot of people have babies that are quote unquote unexpected in this way. And my youngest sister was a surprise pregnancy for my mom. And like that's not only not the end of the world, it's an amazing gift, but the Democrats have to shift away from, it's all euphemistic language. Also, don't use language like conscience clause or protections, right? Because they don't want you as a religious healthcare provider to be able to say, I don't perform abortions. They don't want to say that's your conscience. Instead, they call this refusal of care or denial of care laws. And finally, they say you shouldn't say back alley abortions with coat hangers. You should say criminalizing healthcare. Because the problem is that when you say back alley abortions with coat hangers, people go, oh, so you're saying that it's bad with a hanger, but that it's good with a scalpel. So we're going to change the language over. Now it's criminalizing healthcare. Again, so we at Daily Wire, we have a new comedy series that you should go check out called That's Not Funny, from some of the guys who used to do material over at the Babylon Bee. And there is a video that we just put out called That's Healthcare. And it pretty thoroughly debunks the idea that abortion is healthcare. Healthcare for whom? Not the baby who ends up with its brain sucked into a sink. But the Democrats do not have an advantage on this issue. This is their big problem. And they're being forced over and over again to shift away from their own talking points. Like what they're forced to do in order to defend abortion truly is egregious. There's an entire article in the New York Times today. It's an interactive article simply attacking crisis pregnancy centers, talking about how if you go to a crisis pregnancy center, which generally speaking is a pro-life organization that gives women access to an ultrasound so they can actually see the baby before they kill the baby, and then guides women toward making decisions that don't involve the murder of the unborn. The New York Times hates this, and they're very angry about this. They say their names sound benign, even comforting. Pregnancy Help Center, options for women, Clarity Clinic. You might not notice them if you drove by, but crisis pregnancy centers are frontline outposts in the war against abortion. My God, nefarious. And there are more than 2,000 of them in the United States. Carly Thompson, Carrie Baker, Zach Levitt writing. One is an assistant professor for Middlebury College, and one is a chaired professor at Smith, and one is a graphics editor for the New York Times. Pregnant, need help, they have an agenda, as opposed to Planned Parenthood, who has no agenda. Did you know Planned Parenthood has no agenda? I mean, sure, they get tens of millions of taxpayer dollars every year under Democrats. in order to perform widespread abortion. But they have no agenda whatsoever. When you come into a Planned Parenthood, they have no judgment, no agenda, nothing. It's not like they are basically pushing abortion. No, they have no agenda. Planned Parenthood is absolutely apathetic on abortion. It's amazing. But the big problem is you might go into a place that doesn't recommend that you immediately kill your baby. The New York Times says, as the number of crisis pregnancy centers has increased in the United States, the number of abortion facilities has dropped from more than 2,700 in 1978 to about 785 today. As a result, CPCs now outnumber abortion facilities 3-1. More than half of American women of reproductive age would live closer to a CPC than to an abortion facility, according to our analysis. Oh no, you might live closer to a place where they won't kill your baby than to a place where they will kill your baby? Wow. What moral tragedy. So again, this is the New York Times going after crisis. So you have the Democrats telling their own people not to use the word choice because it's harmful language. You have the New York Times attacking pregnancy crisis centers, and these are the issues where they are supposed to have a moral advantage going into the election? You're going to have to explain that one to me. I mean, their spokespeople are people like Whoopi Goldberg on national television telling people it doesn't matter if it's a baby. Here was Whoopi Goldberg on that great aggregation of IQ points, The View, yesterday.
At what point does a baby in the womb have rights?
Listen, it doesn't matter what you think, when you think it is. If I don't think that's when it is.
Is it the ninth month? Is it the third trimester?
But listen, I don't have to tell you.
It's none of your business.
It's your decision, what you do with your body and how your family works. And for me, I don't care what your religious beliefs are.
But it's not even religion. It's
but it is. This is all based in religion.
It's all based in religion, according to Whoopi Goldberg. And it doesn't matter what you think. No, it really, really, really matters a lot. Because again, there's this notion that you can subjectively define another human being's life is a crazy one. And Whoopi Goldberg, by the way, I mean, just look at American history. There was a large period of time in American history where people subjectively defined black people as not human. Okay, that was the greatest evil in American history, is the subjective redefinition of other human beings to not be human. Because after all, it's your decision. That is not how rights work. That is not how the value of human life is determined. So Democrats are supposed to have an advantage on this issue. They do not. How's this for a title? Ben Shapiro Show subscriber destroys like button with clicks and logic. I'd watch that. Make it happen, gang.